Welcome to the Manager Matt podcast show. Hope you are all doing well and delivering the results through others you want. Now, this week's show, we're going to look at the one-to-one or one-on-one, depending on how you want to say it, and the importance of that meeting in your diary as a manager. Because, as we know, people work for people. And you get much more out of your direct reports when they feel that they are valued, they are cared for, and they are listened to. And a one-to-one is a great tool to be able to do that. Now, one-to-ones are on both sides. So if you are a manager and you're not getting a one-to-one with your manager, it's something you really want to be working on and helping that person do those well with you. Now, what isn't a one-to-one? Well, a one-to-one is not just a conversation at the side of the desk or in the corridor or in the canteen. Those are just as valuable. There's nothing wrong with that. Engaging with people and speaking with people and being human is brilliant. Now, our virtual world and working from home is here to stay. And that means that a lot of those conversations have faded away, which is a shame because you don't get that depth and that feeling if you're not stood in front of someone engaging with them directly. But that is the way of the world at the minute. And that even adds even more weight to the fact that a good one-to-one should be used as a real important tool. And it is one of my big five tools that each manager should be using. So one-to-ones is the first one in the series that we're going to be going through. Then we're going to be following up with feedback, delegation, coaching, and mentoring. And we'll look at all those over the next few episodes. But this episode is about one-to-ones and how we do them well. So you go to work for whatever time of day and whatever shifts you're doing, and you spend quite a lot of time working. But outside of work, outside of those walls, is some real important things happening to you. There could be pressures of looking after sick relatives or elderly relatives. You could be bringing up children or have children who have dependencies or disabled. You may have active hobbies that you're engaged in social clubs. You could be working on a new relationship or ending an old relationship. Those are all pressures that will affect you at work. However you think you're going to not be affected by this, however you think you're going to be this machine that's going to turn up and be resilient, those things affect you. And if you've got an open and honest relationship with your manager and you can discuss those with them, it helps each side understand what's going on in the world. I'm sure you've all had really good people who you've worked with who've been dependable, reliable, never made mistakes, always coming on time, never had a crossword, and all of a sudden there's a change. And that's down to something external that's happened. And the good one-to-one format, done regularly, allows you to understand those changes and allows you to make some corrections and some alterations to help those individuals at certain times. So how do we structure a one-to-one? Well, a one-to-one is a set-aside time that you are with that individual, and I would do them fortnightly. Now, you could do them weekly, and some people do them weekly, and others do them monthly. But a fortnightly seems to work with my leadership style. It works well with my directs. And it gives a chance for those individuals to come to me and talk. There's no distractions. Phones, emails are off. It's their time to sit with you. Normally, it's half an hour. But of course, when you do this at the beginning, it may be a little bit longer. And we split that time up into 3 sections. First section is about them and their family and what is happening. Now, we understand some people won't want to share everything, especially if you're new into leadership roles or new into doing this. There can be a little bit of nervousness about what people open up with. But don't worry about that. Over time, when it becomes repeated and they understand it's a safe environment, they'll open up and talk to you. But it's a good chance to say, how's things going at home? What's happening with Timmy's football? Is he doing well? How's the dog? What's going on? Oh, I hear your mother's not well. What's going on there? It's a great conversation piece. And of course, the person in the one-to-one, your direct, can share as much or as little as they want. I've never had a problem with people not sharing. I have a way of building trust with those individuals, and they've always been able to share what they wanted with me. So that's the first 10 minutes of your one-to-one. Your second 10 minutes is either talking around the team that they're running and how those individuals are working. It's around their performance and what they're doing in work at the minute and how things are going, good or bad. And it's around their projects. So have they got any projects that they're ongoing with? So that's the second 10 minutes of that. So that's a chance to get a good catch up, get anything that they might want support with. It's not a chance for you to collect monkeys. If you don't know what the monkeys are, we'll get into that later. But you don't want to be collecting, you're not getting real monkeys, by the way. You're not going to be collecting their problems. You're just looking at how you might be able to help them move forward if there's certain sticking points that they might be in. And of course, one-to-one every fortnight doesn't mean that people leave everything just for that. If normal day-to-day actions still happen, the door to your office is always going to be open. You're going to be coming in and talking around things. You're going to be measuring KPIs. You're going to have your normal meeting cadence. But this one-to-one is for them to have a little bit more time to expand on some of those things. And the last 10 minutes is about them. Where are they going? So we've talked about their families and their pressures away from work. You've talked around the work and the team that they're running or the projects they've got. The last bit is about them. Where are they going? What do they want to do? What are the areas they've expanded and pushed for? And this is a great opportunity for them to tell you around future plans that they may want to do. It's not a performance review and it's not an appraisal because it's done every fortnight, but it's a chance for you to discuss what they might want to do in the future. And you'll get a chance of what skills they've got that they can offer to the business in the future. So that's the last bit of it. Now, you can document these things, and it can be useful to document. So you get a piece of A4 or electronic version, whichever you want to do now, and split into 3 bits. First bit around their families and what's going on outside of work. Second, around their team and what's happening on their projects. And third, about themselves. That can be shared and then communicate and talk to the next one. It's entirely up to you. I think that works really well. Or it can be something that you keep yourself in a little diary, making sure that you've got enough notes that you've made that's less formal. Or it could be something that's not formal at all, that you just have there and you have that kind of relationship. Depends how you want to do it, because each individual will make it themselves. Some will come with really good notes. Some will come with very little. I remember having some of my one-to-ones where we'll talk around their families for a lot longer because they wanted to share. And it didn't feel appropriate to send them a list of things that they talked around there. But if it's very project-based or very future-focused for themselves, then it's good to keep those as a note because you can then get an update on how Project X is going. How are they finding their team if they're having problems with them? And also, if they were looking at expanding into different departments as part of their progression, what have they done to help themselves get better? What support did you offer? Gives you a reminder to put in your calendar what you need to do. So the one-to-one is a really, really good tool. If you're not doing them, start to think about doing them. When you're thinking about doing one-to-ones, make sure that you're looking at scheduling time into somebody's diary which fits to them and make sure it fits. Don't try to do them at 4:00 on a Friday afternoon. You're going to get very little engagement from people. And probably Monday mornings are very much somewhere to avoid as well because we're always very busy at the start of the week. But look for your Tuesday, Thursdays, middle splits, those kind of things that you can look at, getting some time in the diary, agree with them what you're going to do, and also explain what the one-to-one is. So you really either do that prior, as in, look, I'm going to be starting doing one-to-ones. It's something I think it's really important for the team. You could do it as part of a team brief if you've got directs. If not, do it with individuals. So tell them, look, you can get this invite into your calendar. Nothing to worry about. You don't need to come prepared. We're going to talk around some things that we want to do as individuals. And I'm really interested in how you're fitting into the team. So there's no worry about it. There's no stress for the individual coming to it. And they can then come and enjoy it. And just run it. Get it running and just keep it on there. Don't cancel if you can really, really help it. We know that there's other things come along. We know there's pressures. If there's something happens at work and it's easy to cancel, but don't cancel it. Just reschedule it. Try to fit it into that week that you picked. Because if you miss that one, you've got a month and then you're slipping away. And if you start cancelling people's one-to-ones, they soon start to think that you don't care about them. And that's the last thing that you want to do with a one-to-one. So that's my thoughts on the one-to-one. But of course, I'm interested in your thoughts. So if you want to bob me an email to managermattpodcast@gmail.com, be really keen on listening to your points around how you've done good one-to-ones or bad one-to-ones, or you've not thought about doing one-to-ones and how you might need some more support to do that. But of course, as ever, make sure that when you're doing your one-to-ones, that you're doing it for the right reasons. You're doing it to improve, to help, to understand, and to make sure that individual really feels part of your team. Well, that's it for Manager Matt this week. Thanks for listening, and goodbye.